Hi, I'm Gabe.
Oh, sorry, I'm Vashitta.
I'm Jaime. So yeah, we're a little brain dead today.
Yeah.
It's what, 20
fast.
days? 20 days from election day?
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Yeah, it's somewhere around there. I lost count. I
in the
keep
20s.
counting, and then I lose count.
But unrelated to the elections, which we'll get to in a minute. We launched a whole series of billboards with the National Institutes for Reproductive Health this week.
These are non-electoral. They're actually post-electoral.
Yeah, they're actually like ramping us up for lame duck. Yes.
Right.
So they are about the bill that was introduced here in Ohio, House Bill 565, that would ban all abortions in the state.
The total abortion ban.
Yes, the total abortion ban. This is not the 6-week ban that we've been talking about for God knows how many years now. But this is a new bill that would make abortion punishable under the murder statutes in Ohio. So the woman having the abortion, anyone who assisted her would be abetting a murder, and then of course the physician or medical professional providing them would also be
this would charge everybody.
This would charge everybody.
How do we know that?
Because the bill actually says that. Because the bill actually, about 3/4 of the way through, says that if you don't want to be prosecuted under this, you can rat somebody out. Basically, is what the bill says.
It does what?
It says that, so, after it goes through all the punishments and everything else, it says that if you want to avoid prosecution under this statute, you can tell who performed the abortion, like give up the doctor, you could give up where you had it, you could give up other people who were in the room, you had to participate in prosecuting someone else in order to gain immunity if you are the patient who had the abortion.
Correct. So folks, this is not a drill. Clearly, no. This is something very serious, and with these extreme, egregious abortion bans, we are definitely trying to raise awareness with the billboards.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is with this bill, too, is that there are 18 co-sponsors on this bill. So there are 99 members of the Ohio House who had the ability to sign on to it. Nearly 20% of the Ohio House signed on to a bill that would prosecute women, doctors, and those who help them get access to abortion care for having an abortion under the murder statute in Ohio.
Right.
It also creates fetal personhood, which is something that if you've been around in Ohio for a very, very long time, you remember there was a group of folks who were trying to do a ballot initiative to get the personhood amendment on the ballot.
Remember that. That was horrible.
Yes. So it does have some elements of that too. So this could actually impact like miscarriage management. This could impact access to birth control. This has a whole kind of long arm of impacts.
Wasn't there a thing about in vitro fertilization being?
Yeah. So because it, in order to make under House Bill 565, in order to make it murder, they've created a personhood for an unborn human individual, in air quotes if you're not watching the video, because it doesn't exist. And so they define unborn human individual as a fertilized egg up. So a fertilized egg under House Bill 565 has the same standing as you or me under the law. So it is a person.
They'd be willing to apply a legal penalty to somebody getting in vitro fertilization.
It's possible, yeah.
Just to try and stop abortion.
Uh-huh.
And 1 in 5 members of the Ohio House have signed on to this nutty
Pretty
plan.
much, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what these billboards are. There's 3 in Cleveland on a bunch of the interstates, and 2 in Columbus and the kind of downtown core. 1 directly across from the State House, which I love. And that basically says, there's this bill out there that would, punish people for having abortions by life imprisonment or possibly even the death penalty.
It's at state and high?
Yes, state and high.
All right, so you could stand in John Kasich's office and look out the State House window and see this billboard that talks about why we shouldn't ban all abortions in the state of Ohio.
Yes, dear John Kasich, you are still governor until the end of the year.
And this is co-funded by the National Institute for Reproductive Health?
Yes. It is. So they are a partner organization based in New York City. that they do some New York based stuff, but then they also do nationally recognized campaigns. So we actually worked with them before a couple of, oh God, it's been 2 years now. A bunch of billboards we did in Cleveland the same month as the Republican National Convention up there, that did a bunch of kind of similar outreach on criminalization and what happens when abortion is criminalized and who is criminalized when abortion is criminalized. So we've worked with them several different times on various things. So we're excited to be working with them again.
So this is something that people should be asking their current legislators about, saying, hey, when you come back in November and December, are you guys going to, monkey around with the stupid proposal, or are you going to let this thing die in committee where it should be?
Exactly.
Okay.
So do that.
There's a website on the billboard. We'll put the link to that in the show notes so everybody can see.
Yes.
Probably put a picture of one of these billboards as the nice cover photo for the podcast episode. So check it out.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all non-electoral.
Yes.
But at the same time, there is an electoral. What's going on in the election?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, I mean, as we start to count down to November 6th, I think it's important that we keep reminding people that they can early vote now. So, most of the time, I think you can go to your Board of Elections county building and vote early, or you can wait till November 6th. It's totally up to you. We just want you to vote either way.
Yeah.
And we've seen a number of debates. The last one, Sherrod Brown and Jim Renacci. So obviously we don't like Jim Renacci. We don't want him to win, but just speaking on the debate itself, I watched it and I don't know. I don't have a lot of thoughts on it like I did with the, gubernatorial debate. I don't know. I feel like it's obviously Sherrod is amazing. And he definitely let us know why we've been voting for him all these years, and why he's been representing the state of Ohio all these years is because he cares and he fights for workers and he fights for, everything that we are trying to fight for ourselves. So clean water, jobs, I mean, just everything. So
yeah. First off, you're right. Sherrod Brown fights for workers. I mean, as much as we love him as being a pro-choice champion, like his thing that he's known for is really fighting for working people, protecting the middle class.
Right.
That was something that came up obviously several times during the debate. He was talking a lot about trade and his thoughts on different, trade policies that Trump has either been talking about for a long time or sometimes just seems to pull out of midair.
Exactly.
There was the point when they were talking about coal and coal mining, and Trump always, and Renacci brought up, hey, you wear this canary pin because the canary in the coal mine. And then Renacci turns that around and starts talking about, clean coal, which is obviously a myth fabricated by the coal industry.
Exactly.
In a way that's going to, allow them to continue to poison the atmosphere, burning nasty coal dust.
Absolutely.
But, Sherrod has been supporting things like, solar and wind and sensible environmental policies. He's always been like our number one champion on reproductive rights in the Senate.
Absolutely.
And, I think the biggest thing I took away from this debate is, there wasn't like any new information revealed. But I think it made it really clear that Renacci, he jumped into this race late because Josh Mandel was in and then out.
Absolutely.
And it's never felt like Renacci's had a complete campaign. He doesn't seem to be committed. I don't think he thinks that he can win. The polls agree he's not going to win. And so it's like, in place of having a real campaign and talking about the issues, he's just resorted to just throwing out whatever garbage he can come up with.
Absolutely.
And it's like, dude, just because you're losing a Senate race doesn't mean that you can just try to sling mud.
So, I agree. Just basically trying to throw Sherrod under the bus. And I definitely agree with you, Gabe. Renacci got into this race late, and obviously because Josh Mandel got out, he just felt like, oh, hey, here's a place for me, I'll just jump in here. Definitely to me a self-serving purpose. So
Well, I think the one big thing that came out, I mean, Jim Renacci is trying to be Trump, and he is even failing at that. And I'm not quite sure how you fail at that, because like, I feel like, just lying
There's
everywhere.
No good outcome there.
Yeah, there really is no good outcome there. So, I think it really just solidified that, Jim Renacci is, just another Donald Trump, and is just, trying to sling mud and do whatever he can to get elected.
Trying to appeal to Trump supporters.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess, riding Trump's coattail, being with him while he's locking up kids in cages and not speaking on that in the very least. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Right.
Bye-bye. But let's remember that we can't just be too complacent, because there were lots of polls that said that we wouldn't be in the position we are today either. So that means,
looking at Sherrod's numbers, look how much he has out fundraised.
Oh my God, yes.
Renacci is out fundraise a word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
sure.
It is today, but that's actually true across the board.
Yeah,
like and maybe we'll try to find the exact number for the show notes, but Democrats across the country have outraised by multiple times their Democratic opponent. We're seeing it in the CD12 race with Danny O'Connor and Troy Balderson and everything else, that they've just kind of out fundraised everybody.
It's an amazing time. So
get out and vote. Don't make us spend. Don't make these candidates spend all of this ridiculous amounts of money. Because when I hear the totals every time, I just my brain hurts, because how much we could solve with billions of dollars that we spend in campaigns every other year. Right? But don't make all this money get spent and then you just sit at home and not vote. So go vote.
Right. The more competitive race here in Ohio is DeWine versus Cordray. Mike DeWine has been waffling, flip-flopping on the issue of pre-existing conditions. He seems to be trying to claim that he's in support of people with pre-existing conditions and wouldn't cruelly strip away their health care, but on the same, at the same time, he was part of a lawsuit to block parts of the Affordable Care Act going into effect that would have helped people with pre-existing conditions.
Exactly.
First day in office. His first day in office, he filed that lawsuit. So
he's a horrible person.
Yeah, and when you look at all the sort of things, the many people that would be hit by pre-existing condition restrictions from health insurance companies, to turn his back on those Ohioans and say, no, I don't want you to have health care. I'd rather side with this, big corporate insurance company.
Yeah.
Is horrifying.
It is. How can you say that you want to come back and, as governor and do what you can for Ohio when you're denying people their basic, the right that we all have to have healthcare? There's just no way.
In particular, pre-existing conditions include things like, being a victim of sexual assault and being a victim of domestic violence. And he's running his entire campaign on a lie that he tested all these rape kits and Richard Cordray didn't. The facts of that case is that Richard Cordray actually started the task force in his last couple of months in office to start the process so that Mike DeWine could finish it 7 years later. So
exactly.
Whatever, dude. But he's DeWine's making himself out as this champion for sexual assault victims, which he's not at all. He will block their access to abortion care and contraceptive services, and also block them from getting healthcare in general, because it will be a pre-existing condition and they won't be able to get healthcare anymore.
Right.
So screw you.
One thing that was brought up in the third debate, Cordray asked DeWine if he would agree to a Toledo debate. The three debates that they had were Cincy, Columbus, Cleveland. Toledo always seems to get neglected in these sort of things. Cordray wants to take the debate to Toledo, allow that community to have a firsthand experience to hear from both of these candidates. Mike DeWine said that no, he's not interested in going to Toledo and talking to Toledoans. Considering the work that we've done in our office to help people in Toledo, we've got a sign up there about abortion access Toledo. I found it really shocking that DeWine would be like, no, I'm not interested in Toledo.
I did too, and I think the people of Ohio, even if you don't live in Toledo, you should find that shocking as well, because basically he's saying he just doesn't care. Like, there's no other way to put it. So like, that's sad. Why would you want a man like that to be governor of Ohio?
Well, in a lot of ways, Toledo has been kind of the canary in the coal mine, to come back to Sharon's pin.
No kidding.
For a lot of these things, Toledo was the first place where we started to lose abortion clinics because of all these laws. Toledo couldn't drink its water for 3 or 4 days because of Lake Erie being so contaminated. And those things are now spreading. We're seeing clinics closing in other cities. We're seeing water quality problems in other cities. Like, it really is kind of this, warning sign for our state, and for DeWine to be just completely ignoring that and its citizens is really, should be alarming to all voters.
Yes.
I agree. And I applaud Richard Cordray for wanting to have that debate and for caring about the people in Toledo. So obviously this is just another reason why we should vote for him and Betty Sutton.
Yeah.
Right. Newspapers agree. There have been multiple editorials in support of Cordray Sutton. We saw the Columbus Dispatch. The Cleveland Plain Dealer has since joined them. The Athens News.
Shocker on that one.
Right?
Most of the liberal city in the state.
But we especially the Dispatch, making that endorsement. Jaime, you pointed out as we were talking before the show started, they specifically pointed to DeWine's very extreme stance on abortion rights and said, this is too excessive for the state of Ohio.
Absolutely.
No, and that really was, they had a whole list of things on why, but that was one of the big pieces that they said was this, his stance on abortion care is not acceptable and too extreme for our state. And, I think they even brought the Kavanaugh stuff into it and everything else. In this time, Ohio cannot afford to have, and I think it goes back to Richard Cordray's other comment in the last debate too. Like, Ohio legislators have been obsessed with defunding Planned Parenthood, with making abortion nearly impossible to get in a lot of cases, and has been just completely ignoring everything else.
Right.
Our opiate crisis is out of control. Infant mortality, maternal mortality is, an emerging health crisis that's exploding before our eyes. And they're doing absolutely nothing to deal with any of this stuff because they're so singularly focused on banning abortion.
Yes. Right.
And that's what Mike DeWine will bring and help us move some of these other balls forward that actually, need to move forward.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. The Akron Beacon Journal, speaking of newspaper endorsements, endorsed Kathleen Clyde.
Yay!
Why did we endorse Kathleen Clyde?
Because she's awesome.
Because she's awesome.
Exactly. Because she speaks out against voter suppression, because she understands that the state of Ohio to lose big if we do not elect a Democratic Secretary of State who's going to actually fix the issues that we have.
Right.
Yeah.
She's just been such an outspoken advocate on so many issues, voting rights being the one she's really honed in on the most.
This has been like her thing for a long time.
From the time
Rightfully
she got
so.
in. And she's from a really interesting district. It's not a, solidly Democratic district. It's a more bipartisan district. Northeast Ohio includes Kent and Kent State, but the areas around it as well. And so she's, really worked hard to represent her district and do what was right for the people of her district. And she's just one of the most thoughtful and considerate, but then also so often when you get somebody who really is considerate and those kind of things, they start getting weaker on some things, but no, she stood her ground so solidly and did it just such in a way where she connected with people even when she disagreed with them.
Right. Absolutely.
And
so she's pretty solid across the board.
Yeah. She's an amazing, progressive, young, Democratic woman candidate that is just one of my favorite candidates running.
Right. And you should vote for her.
Yes. Vote for Kathleen Clyde.
Yes. So that's kind of the news in the election this week. Up and down the ticket, we've got a ton of pro-choice champions to support. You can find them all on our website. We'll put the link to those in the show notes. Yeah, the one that sticks out the most really is the Renacci backing Donald Trump. If you go to Jim Renacci's Twitter feed, he's got this picture of him in the Oval Office with Donald Trump. And I keep seeing all of these disgusting comments by Trump. Mm-hmm. And, it's like every single one of them.
Sad.
Jim Renacci's basically putting his name on and saying, I stand with this guy, no matter what sort of garbage it is. I don't like Kanye West, so meeting with Kanye.
Oh,
yeah.
No. I mean, the Black community has already banned him anyway, so
yeah.
Talk about him, do whatever you want. He's gone.
No, and I mean, you saw it. I mean, they had that meeting, and then Trump came to. We forgot to put this on there. Trump came to Westchester or Lebanon. He went to Lebanon. Or was it Westchester? He went somewhere down there in Southwest Ohio, where my family all lives. Hey. They and I guess Kanye talked something about the 13th Amendment, and then Trump fully backed repealing the 13th Amendment and went off on some racist tirade. Shocker, I know. At the speech he gave later that same day in Ohio too. So, it just continues to go downhill and downhill and downhill. And now he's, saying that even though there's mounting very, very, very credible evidence that the Saudi Arabian crown prince had something to do with this journalist, Washington Post journalist, getting killed, that, Trump's saying, well, he denies it, so we should believe him.
Yes.
Right. I mean, this is a big thing that I think, hey, Jim Renacci.
Yeah.
Trump's in your profile picture. Are you going to support him Trump was basically acting this past week as the spokesman for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not a shocker.
Not a shocker like this year, but big picture, the idea of, the president of the United States being a spokesperson for a king in a different country who just had someone murdered.
Correct.
That's
to us. It's man. Like, wow, this is really happening to but then when you think about the person, it's like, I mean, I just see it as getting worse from here on out. Honestly, I'm sure this is not going to be the worst that we see.
Yeah,
unfortunately, and
right.
Yeah, no, and it's just and Trump was out there. I'm sure Kavanaugh's like, oh my God, please stop. But one of the quotes he had somewhere was that this is just like what happened to Judge Kavanaugh during his confirmation hearings. You're guilty until proven innocent. And I believe in, innocent until proven guilty, and they're denying it. So it didn't happen. And blah,
Trump
blah.
was comparing Kavanaugh's sexual assault allegations with the Saudis murdering and dismembering a journalist inside a consulate.
Yes. I'm sure Kavanaugh's like, oh, please God,
huge
stop.
Sigh.
Please stop. Please stop.
Oh, man. This is why we must vote.
Yes. Please
you understand?
vote.
Like this.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Well, it kind of fills in because there's been, 2 years now of Jared Kushner being very close with the Saudi family. And it's like, oh, man, no good will come of this. And now we see no good coming of it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, and Pompeo was even down there this week. The day after I feel like it was the day after they started saying, well, he might have died in the embassy, but we didn't mean to kill him, which is the current story, because they've had 4 or 5, if you're following the story, at this point.
There was a team of 15 hitmen with a bone saw.
Yeah. But they didn't mean to kill him. It was just an interrogation gone wrong, because you bring a guy with a bone saw to an interrogation, whatever. But no, while this is all happening, Pompeo met with them. There's video of him smiling and laughing with these people in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
And back to the, Trump and the coal mines and alternative energy and that kind of stuff. One of the reasons we're kind of stuck is because Saudi Arabia controls oil prices.
Exactly.
And you can't piss them off too much, or
Right.
we're going to pay $10 a gallon for gas, and then Trump's going to be really unpopular. So he can't do that. So he has to kowtow to these administrations because we refuse to invest in electric cars and alternative energies and all these things that could actually make us more independent from these crazy people who kill people in their embassies.
Right. And Trump's first comment when questioned is, well, we don't know what happened, but we shouldn't stop arms sales to them.
Yes. We just sold them a
And
ridiculous amount of money.
I'm pretty sure arms sales was the missing thing I was trying to come up with.
was.
This pro-life Republican Party is willing to sweep under the rug the murder of one man so that they can protect arms sales, hundreds of millions of dollars of arms sales.
Pathetic.
Yeah, it's like, no, don't pay attention to this one man that we've killed.
Exactly.
We need to protect the ability to kill millions more people.
Yes.
With all of these bombs and guns and tanks and fighter jets.
That's pretty much what they're saying when they sweep this under the rug. Like, oh no, it's fine. It didn't happen. Or it's just, it's one person. Let's act like this didn't happen. And then this whole catastrophe just happens later on where it just gets 20 times worse.
And he was only a legal resident of the United States, as Trump repeatedly points out. He wasn't a U.S. citizen, so it really doesn't matter.
This Washington Post journalist.
Yeah, this Washington Post
Just
journalist
like
who's lived in
babies only
Virginia for
matter
years.
until they're born, right?
Yeah.
When children are actually here, they don't matter. But when they're in your womb, oh my gosh, everybody wants to have access to tell you what to do.
Right. Yeah, it's
absurd.
The same twisted logic.
Yeah.
Pay no attention to this dead journalist, and really, please don't pay attention to the proxy war that we're fighting in Yemen to distract from the fact that Trump really wants to evade Iran.
This can't be life. Like, this cannot be the country that we are living in right now. I just
to vote.
Yeah, we keep coming back to that word
in every sentence with please go vote.
Okay, so talking about people getting out to vote. We've got stuff going on.
We have stuff going on.
Just a few things.
We have good things going on.
So, like,
what's your team doing?
Look in our show notes. We have we're having canvases every week and phone banks every week from now until the election. Actually, Kellie has a canvas today in Dayton, and Hannah has one in Toledo on Saturday. And we are actually seeing some really good turnout. A lot of people are coming out to canvas and to phone bank. They are understanding what's at stake. We have 3 weeks left in this election, less than 3 weeks. So, like, we need everyone to get on board. If you want to volunteer with us, come go to our show notes, go to our page. We will definitely give you something to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
As you said, tonight, Dayton canvassing at 5:30. On Saturday at 10 a.m. in Toledo. And then on October 22nd here in Columbus is in a Dayton phone bank. So we're doing doors, phones. October 27th back in Dayton is another canvas. And then October 29th is a Monday, more phones. So that was a lot of dates really quick.
Yes.
All of the information for that is in the show notes. Always go to our Facebook page, click on the events tab. That's where you'll find the most up-to-date information. In many parts of Ohio, there is something to do. If you can't get to one of those cities, give us a buzz. We'll either set you up with some phone calls that you can make or connect you with a partner organization of ours that's in some other part of Ohio closer to where you're at.
Yeah, the fabulous thing about our phone system is that you can actually participate remotely. You can't do it on your own time. It has to be in the time frames where we've got other things going on. But if you are in Athens and you want to participate in the Columbus phone bank on Monday, you can totally do that from your house. Just give us a ring.
Right. Also going on October 24th is the October happy hour at the St. James Tavern.
Woohoo!
The Reproductive Health happy hour, I believe it supports Women Have Options this month. That's Ohio's biggest abortion fund.
Yes, only independent abortion fund.
Yeah, definitely a worthwhile cause. The St. James Tavern's always been a good friend of ours, so definitely a good happy hour to go to. I missed one phone bank date on October 25th. There's a phone bank in Cleveland.
Yes.
So like I said, in many cities, there's something to do.
And if you're not in that city, you can still do something.
Yep.
As Jaime pointed out. So.
Right. And then we'll be heading into GOTV. So we'll be working with some coalition partners of ours to make sure that, we hit every door that we can in those last few days before Election Day to make sure people know where their polling location is, ask them what their plan is to vote.
Absolutely.
All of that. So, go vote.
You do not want to regret the day after that you did not vote.
Okay.
So.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Sound good?
Yep.
Okay. We'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye.